Honestly speaking, this is gonna be a pretty easy patch to decide who to pull on. This time, we are featuring Barcarola, Fatutu, the Scam banner with Jay and Tuesday, and also Euphoria banner with two new Euphoria from the patch, which are Voyager and Jessica, plus Lydia and Babel from before. The TLDR for free-to-play players are pretty simple. Do not touch anything except the Fatutu banner. But it doesn't mean I'm saying the rest of the banners are completely worthless, so let's also go over them as well. Let's start with Fatutu and why I consider her a must-have character for most of the players. Fatutu is the first healer released after Euphoria, and unlike Lopera, who still had gaps in her healing, Fatutu completely covered the entire team by herself. Her passive applies constant small heals every time allies attack an enemy with her shell on them. And with enough shells on the enemy, her buff card can instantly heal the entire team to full by yoinking them back all at once, making her sustain one of the strongest in the game. But she's not just a healer. She also brings Kakania's damage sharing utility, as her buff spread incoming damage across the team, making single target nuke much less dangerous and keeping your carry alive. And here is where it gets really interesting. This buff has insane synergy with Euphoria Eternity and Simawes. Since Eternity's team damage that came from Euphoria is counted as an attack, it also triggers Fatutu's damage-sharing buff. And with this synergy, Simawes will actually get 16 stacks from a single use of Eternity's card, allowing her to unlock her full potential for the first time outside of the roguelike. She also boosts follow-up attack damage with a unique debuff, and because it's special debuff, even enemies that are immune to negative status will still get affected by it. And no, we are still not done yet. Whenever her shell transfers 7 times, she automatically casts her skill 1, which not only reapply a little bit of that shell onto the enemy, but also purify 1 debuff from each ally. And for some reason, she also generates Moxie passively to help maintain her ultimate throughout the fight, which happened to have a ridiculous 700% multiplier. The point is, Fatutu is a game changer for endgame content like Reverie in the Rain, and if you care even a little bit about meta, she's not a character that you would want to miss. And for now, it's time for Barcarola. Barcarola is the first character in the Impromptu Incantation team, a new team archetype that plays very differently from the traditional teams. There is no singular carry here. The real damage dealer is the Impromptu Incantation itself, and character in this archetype focuses mainly on powering up Impromptu Incantation by both burning Eureka to generate inspiration and giving it additional effect through their passives and incantation effects. When it all come together, the damage potential is ridiculous, and when Aleph gets released later, this team will become one of the strongest DPS setup in the game. But high DPS isn't everything in this game. This team has some real issues. It takes multiple turns to ramp up, and since every character wants to act as much as possible, there are barely any action point left for the healer. Right now, the best healer for the team is Medicine Pocket, since he provides the strongest passive sustain. But there's a big downside, since Star counters Mineral, which counters Beast, he's going to be at Aptitude's disadvantage in fights the team is good for, which is fatal in Reverie in the Rain. Even when you are using the right myth, which is either the Ultimate myth or the Wolf myth, this team is still relatively restrictive. This issue might be solved when Tooth Fairy or Azra get their Euphoria, but that's still a long way off, and honestly, I wouldn't bet on it just yet. Lopera is still waiting for her fated bullet carry, and it's been about 5 patches now. There is also another key factor. Voyager is essential for this team. She gives Impromptu Incantation the ability to attack additional target and let its main attack focus on specific enemy marked by her ultimate. Without her, the team loses a major part of its consistency. So while Impromptu Incantation is one of the strongest DPS team right now, it comes with a lot of restrictions. The character in this niche don't slot into other teams very well. Overall, I would suggest most people to skip the Impromptu Incantation team for now, and for those who do want to play the team anyway, I would suggest be prepared to go all in and pick up Barcarola, Voyager, Aleph in the future, and whoever become the suitable sustain for this team. Now let's quickly go over the scam banner. We have Tuesday, which is a core member of the poison team that roughly triples Volo's damage potential, and Jay, who becomes significantly more useful last patch thanks to Euphoria Babel and Flutterpage. Babel make his shield a lot harder to break, and Flutterpage is able to provide a tons of damage bonus with her force field, which allows his counter and also 37's follow-up to do meaningful damage. But like always, this is a scam banner, there's no petty carryover, so if you're pulling here, you have to commit for at least one raid up. And since there is no guarantee which one you will be getting, you should only pull here if you're okay with getting either of the character. Unfortunately for the global players, most key characters like Tuesday and also probably Barcarola will have their first rerun on a scam banner, but eventually they will get a normal banner too, so unless both characters are general S tier, like the last one with Mercury and Kakania, I would say this is not a banner you should put your pull in. And finally, let's look at the Euphoria banner. Compared to the scam banner, this is much more forgiving banner. You get to pick your rate up character and your first 50-50 is guaranteed, which is very nice bonus. On top of that, the first multi will also only cost you 7 pulls, which is kind of nice. And for this rotation, there are a few standout picks. Babel is still a great pickup if you still don't have her, and if you're interested in playing the Impromptu Incantation team but don't have Voyager, this is a perfect time to grab her since she's an essential part of the archetype right now. Lydia is another option, but if you're looking for a star DPS at this point, I actually think it's better to just wait for Liang Yue, since her banner is only 4 weeks away thanks to the shortened patch cycle. And as much as I'm a huge Jessica fan, I can't really in the goodness of my heart recommend anyone to pulling her right now on the Euphoria banner. Her Euphoria was supposed to make her a viable petrification DPS, but unfortunately, even with the Euphoria, she's still just not competitive against any of the DPS right now. Before we move on though, I'd like to just do a little bit more foresight for this video because there is a pretty broken team coming. Some of you guys who come to my streams have already seen them in action, but there's a character called Recoleta that's coming in 2.6. And with Euphoria Malinia, who is a must-have for Ultimate Centric team, and Euphoria Pickles, who is now a broken mineral support, she has the power to rival that of Anjonala. And just like Anjonala, she's super simple to play, so I would say make sure to have some polls saved for patch 2.6 please. And if you do not have any polls saved up, when the patch hits, don't say I didn't warn ya. That pretty much covers everything for this patch's banners, and this time I actually want to hear something very specific from you guys. What do you guys think about the Impromptu Incantation team? And are you going to be polling for Barcarola this patch? Let me know in the comment down below. And as always, this has been SteamBandX, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video.